All right, so what you should see in this screen, and in this particular screen, I'm actually doing a function to running a program to convert um, Celsius to Fahrenheit. And so I'm going to explain kind of what am I doing in this particular item, and then I will also explain and show you essentially how to code that item in. So before I understand or I write a program to do this conversion, I need to understand how does Celsius convert to Fahrenheit. So that's really important. So I need to understand basically that what should a formula be. And so the formula for converting temperature degrees to Fahrenheit, I need to understand what is it equal to. So there's a number of formulas out there, and one shows that temperature equals Fahrenheit equals 20 degrees Celsius times 9.5 plus 32 will equal, and here it says 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So I know that alone would be the actual program I need to do, or the function, or the what I need to write out. So what I would do is I would take like a maybe piece of paper and I would just graph out what I need to do in terms of creating this type of conversion. And so now I know that what the formula is, and then I have to be able to program that formula. So as in with any programming, before I start out, I'm going to simply write, my name. I'll write out the date. And then I will say what this program is. And then I'm going to write comments, essentially what is my program doing. So I know what I want to do with this program. I want to basically take input given by the individual or the user in degrees Celsius. So I'm going to use degrees Celsius to convert to Fahrenheit. So I'm going to say I want to, let's say, take the program right back up here, and program is to take degrees divided by the user and Celsius and convert to Fahrenheit. So that's what I'm doing. So here I have to think about what is Celsius going to equal, right? So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to say Celsius equals, I'm going to use a float, right? So I'm going to have a float, and then I need to actually have an input, because I'm going to be taking an input from the user. So I'm going to put an input, and I'm going to tell the user to do something. So I'm going to write a comment that says enter the degrees and Celsius, because I'm doing a conversion, right? So I'm going to say enter degrees in Celsius. So that's going to be the line, because here the float is going to be inputting an item, and I'm going to have the individual input items in Celsius. So that's what this line is right here. Then I need to calculate Fahrenheit. I'm going to write a line here that says calculate Fahrenheit. So here I'm going to calculate Fahrenheit, and so now I have to say what does Fahrenheit equal, right? So I'm going to say Fahrenheit equals Celsius. But what you don't see here is it shows the variable. So it would show the variable, and it's showing the variable Celsius. So I'm going to hit enter. It's going to have Celsius, and I know I need to multiply that. So I'm going to multiply that by 1.8. I'm going to put that in parentheses, and then I'm going to add 32. Because remember earlier when you read the actual formula, it says you have to add 32. So if I'm writing out the formula, for the Fahrenheit, I'm taking Celsius times 1.8 plus 32. And that's all I'm running out here. So I'm basically taking that simple formula and I'm putting it here in code. So now I have Celsius times 1.8 plus 32. Now I need to print these items out. So I'm going to print. I'm going to do percentage 0 dot. So I'm basically printing these items out. And this is a statement I'm putting out with it. going to run this. Put a comma here, and then I'll explain a little further. These are my variables, of course. Remember, it's case sensitive, so I got to worry about what I'm actually typing. All right, that's what I have, and it's showing an extra comma here, so I got to see where that comma is coming from. All right, so I have that, and I'm going to save it and see if it runs. So I'm going to try to run it, and I'm going to run. Yeah, I'm going to run this item. So Alt Shift F10. And I'm going to see if it works. So I'm going to do 56, 54. So it didn't work exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in. I'm going to modify some of this code. I'm going to change this last line because it's the last line that's giving me problems. So I'm going to try to run it again. And I just changed. You remember there was that actual, I guess one of these items must have stringed the items together. So here I'm going to do 54. And now you can see that it was the last item that gave me a problem. And it's working. So now I'm able to run it with an actual user input. So basically, like I said, all I did was take the physical formula, you know, the physical conversion temperature, and I just put it in code. That was all I did. And then I'll explain, you know, the floats and inputs later. But in terms of the core of it, this formula, it's what you'll find on the internet. So basically, this is what Fahrenheit will equal. And the way that I printed an item out, this is just, you can print items out in various statements, but that quick, that easy. But the core of it is this statement right here, this conversion statement.